Dear student, myself Rajendra Asari, I am Assistant Professor in Computer Science Department at Government Bangad PG College, Didwana. Dear student, in the previous class, we started a lecture series on transaction and management system. Now, in that topic, we discussed various concepts on acid property like atomicity, consistency, how to ensure the concurrency, then isolation property, and the durability property. We discussed various schemes on concurrency and control mechanism. After that, we discussed various log-based protocol. In that, we discussed about various log like shared log, exclusive log, intention shared log, intention exclusive log, and combination of shared and exclusive intention log. Then we discussed about validation based protocol. Okay. Now in today's lecture we are starting a new concept, multi-version scheme. Now what is meaning of this, how to implement this, what are the various limitation of this scheme, and then how to perform insertion and deletion operation. All these concept we are going to discuss in today's lecture. So first, what do you mean by multi-version scheme? So multi-version schemes are nothing else, they keep old version of data item in order to increase the concurrency, right? It means they will store all the old version of the particular data item in order to increase the concurrency, right? Now in multi-version there are two concept. First is multi-version timestamp ordering and second is multi-version two-phase locking concept. Now each successful write results in the creation of a new version of the data item written. It means whenever we perform a particular write operation, then it will result into a creation of a new version of the data item which are being written. Now it use timestamp to label the versions, right? Now next, when a read operation on a data item queue is issued, then select an appropriate version of the data item queue based on the timestamp of the transaction. Means whenever we want to perform a read operation on the data item queue, then we have to select an appropriate version of the data item queue based on the timestamp of the transaction and return the value of the selected version. Now it will read never have to wait as an appropriate version is written immediately, right? Next, how to ensure the ordering in timestamp clear? So multi-version timestamp ordering. Each data item queue has a sequence of version like we can say q1, q2 dot up to qm. Now each version q of k contains three data field. First field says about the content. What is meaning? So the value of the version q of k, particular data item q value is called as the content. Next is W timestamp of data item Q key, the timestamp of the transaction that created or wrote the version Q of key. Next is R timestamp of Q of key, the largest timestamp of a transaction that successfully read the version Q of key, right? So first is telling about the value called as content, second telling about the write operation called as the W timestamp, and third is telling about the read timestamp called as R timestamp of particular data item Q key. Now when a transaction T of I create a new version Q of Q, then qk dash s w timestamp and write timestamp are initialized to ts or timestamp of that particular transaction ti. Similarly, read timestamp of data item qk is updated whenever a transaction tj reads qk and timestamp of transaction Tj is greater than read timestamp of Qk. Now multi-version timestamp ordering. Suppose that transaction Ti issues a read and write operation on data item Q. Then let's say Q of K denote the version of Q whose write timestamp is the largest write timestamp less than or equal to timestamp of Ti. Clear? Now there are two possibilities. If the transaction T of I issues a read operation on data item Q, then the value returned is the content of the version Q of key. Second, if the transaction Ti issues a write operation on data item Q, then first, if the timestamp of Ti is less than read timestamp of Qk, then transaction Ti is rolled back. Second, if timestamp of Ti equal to write timestamp of Qk, then the content of Qk are overwritten. Third, else a new version of data item Q is created. Now here we need to observe that reads always succeeded. A write by transaction Ti is rejected if some other transaction, let's say Tj, that in the serialization order defined by the timestamp values should read. Now multi-version two-phase locking protocol. It differentiates between read-only transaction and update transaction. Read-only transaction, it means where we can perform only the read operation or reading of a particular data item. In update transaction, we can modify the values of a particular data item. So update transactions acquire read and write lock at the same time, and they hold all the lock up to the end of the transaction. That is, update transaction follow a rigorous two-phase locking protocol. Now first, each successful write result in the creation of a new version of data item being written. Each version of a data item has a single timestamp whose value is obtained from a counter TS counter that is incremented during commit processing. Clear? So we can say each version of data item has a single timestamp whose value is obtained from a counter TS counter that is incremented during commit processing. Next, read only transaction. They are assigned a timestamp by reading the current value of TS counter before they start the execution. Now they follow the multi-version timestamp ordering for performing the read operation. Continuing the multi-version two-phase locking, when an update transaction wants to read a particular data item, then what happen? It obtain a shared lock on it and read the latest version. Means in order to perform a read on a particular data items, let's say Q, the particular data item needs to obtain a shared lock on it, and after that it will read the latest version. Now when it wants to write an item, then for writing we require an exclusive lock on the data item. It then create a new version of the item and sets the version's timestamp to infinity. Now when update transaction Ti completes, it commit its processing and which will result into Ti sets timestamp on the versions it has created to TS counter plus 1. So it will increment the TS counter by 1. Now transaction Ti increment TS counter by 1. Next, read only transaction that start after Ti increment TS counter will see the values updated by the transaction Ti. Now read-only transaction that start before TI increment the TS counter value will see the value before the updates by TI. Now only serializable schedules are produced in this case. Multi-version concurrency control mechanism. So in order to, there are some issues. So creation of multi-version increases storage overhead. Overhead means extra tuples, extra space in each tuple for storing the version information. Now versions can however be garbage collected. Like example, if we say that data item q has two version, q5 and q9, and the oldest active transaction has timestamp which is greater than 9, then data item q5 older version will never be required again. Okay. Now next is insert and delete operation. So if two-phase locking is issued, a delete operation may be performed only if the transaction deleting a particular tuple has an exclusive lock on the tuple to be deleted. So it is very important. In order to perform delete operation, we require exclusive lock on that particular data item. So again, we are reading the concept. A delete operation may be performed only if, this is the essential condition, only if the transaction deleting the tuple has an exclusive lock on the tuple to be deleted. Now a transaction that insert a new tuple into the database is given an exclusive mode lock on the tuple. So in case of insert and delete, both case we require exclusive mode on a particular data item to be inserted and to be deleted. Now insertion and deletion can lead to the phantom phenomena. This is very important concept, phantom phenomena. A transaction, what is meaning of this? So a transaction that scan a relation. Example, let's say find the sum of balances of all account in the parish branch, and a transaction that inserts a tuple in the relation. So insert a new account at the parish branch conceptually and conflict in spite of an accessing any tuple in the common. So if only tuple locks are used, non-serializable schedules can result into the scan transaction does not see the new account, but it will read some other tuple written by the update transaction. So insert and delete continuing. The transaction scanning the relation is reading information that indicate what tuples the relation contain, while a transaction inserting a tuple updates the same information. Now the information should be logged. There are some solution. One solution is associate a data item with the relation in order to represent the information about what tuples the relation contains. Now transactions scanning the relation acquire a shared lock in the data item, right? Now transactions inserting or deleting a tuple will acquire an exclusive lock on the that particular data item. So we can say locks on the data item do not conflict with locks on individual tuple. Now these above protocol provide very low concurrency for insertion and deletion. So index locking protocol provide higher concurrency while preventing the phantom phenomena by requiring locks on certain index bucket. So index locking protocol we are going to discuss in the next class. Summarizing this lecture, in this lecture we started a concept multi-version schemes. In that multi-version scheme we covered multi-version timestamp ordering and multi-version two-phase locking concept. After that how phantom phenomena occurred, what are the various implementation issues occurred in multi-version concurrency control scheme, clear, and then how to implement insert and delete operation. All this concept we covered in this lecture. So that's all from this lecture. Thank you.